So let's celebrate the year of the tiger with a countdown of the top dogs, cat characters that have been inspired by this beautiful creature here on PopCon. You don't have to rack your brain hard to recall all the memorable tiger characters in our shared pop culture experience, but I'm going to help you anyway. I'm Victor, this is PopCon, a salute to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. It's the year of the tiger, so we're counting down 8 famous tiger characters that we grew up with, or you just can't miss because they've become a cultural impact over time. I myself am the year of the ox, and there's not a lot of ox characters out there, although Babe the Big Blue Ox is a good one. But what about you? Are there a lot of iconic characters in your Chinese zodiac? Will you think about that while we watch this? Let's get it on! Number 8, Tigra. Although one of my favorites and his legacy handed down in the annals of geekdom, Tigra kicks off the list in the last spot as a famous, but not as iconic tiger as others on the list. A powerful Thundercat that was reborn in a 2011 cartoon and various other media, but without the wrestling singlet. He has even had countless incredible merchandise tie-ins, as one does in pop culture. Originally voiced by the talented Peter Newman, Tigra has to be one on the list for his sheer Ghost of the Jungle disappearing act, as well as simply appearing naked in the first episode. Number 7, Tigress. The newest on the list and totally outside of my era of pop culture expertise, Tigress is part of an endearing franchise and an important character. With stellar design and voice talent by Angelina Jolie, the cast of Kung Fu Panda have taken quite a role in pop culture, and she lands at number 7 with all her power and face-palming action as she reluctantly fights alongside with the portly powerhouse Po. Number 6, Hobbs. What the hell happened to Calvin and Hobbes, or the artist for that matter? From 85 to 95, Hobbes embodied childhood fantasy in a way most boomers and Xers could relate to. His legacy is much more than a Calvin peeing window decal. With stunningly simple comic strips and philosophical emotional attachment, Hobbes channeled a bit of the original Tigger as he took over in popularity for an entire 10 years before quietly vanishing into the sunset. Number 5, Raja. You may think a non-verbal ancillary character in the original 1992 Aladdin may not be among this list, but Raja has remained popular as a loyal guardian to Princess Jasmine, not only in the original movie, but countless media representations since, including the recent live action, where he is a bit more imposing than ever, and is less confidant and more protector. Raja, which means Indian prince, will continually be revered and respected beyond the die-hard Disney files. Number 4, Shere Khan. One of my faves, and speaking of respect, Shere Khan earned his because of what could happen to you if you didn't show him any. Hating man and their fire, his quest to kill the man cub, and his sheer ruthlessness, see what I did there, depicted in his animation movement and the elevated vocals of classic actor George Sanders, Shere Khan is a vicious villain not only in the 1967 animated Jungle Book, but in the much-loved Disney afternoon 90s romp Tailspin with Baloo. In this conniving corporate executive look, it just fits. More recently, and with greater prowess than before, his live-action incarnation stayed just as connivingly classy, with Benedict Cumberbatch taking on the role of the most fierce tiger in the jungle. Number 3, Battle Cat. It is true, Battle Cat is number 3, and I do believe he will never be forgotten. But there are still a couple more who've reached a broader audience, but just barely. For Battle Cat, or Cringer when he isn't transformed into the raging green and yellow tiger that is He-Man's mount, has been with us since 1982 and hasn't tired of the spotlight. Although he took a breather during the New Adventures of He-Man and the disastrous Camp Classic live-action movie, the 2002 reboot and the 2 Netflix series both depict him as a main character and far less cringy, and I use that lovingly, than his first animated appearance. Originally voiced by Alan Oppenheimer in the 80s, no matter who is the vocal talent, you can believe good old Battle Cat will be a pivotal part of the adventure. Number 2, Tigger. It was a hard choice, and I did make a flip-flop during production. I had closer bonds with Tigger and know him inside and out more than any other cat on this list. And out of all the Pooh characters, this is the one I could relate to on any level. The bouncy trouncy ouncy pouncy Tigger, or T-I-double-G-R, is made more special because, well, he's the only one. Although first debuting in the 1920s, he became a mainstream hit in the 60s and voiced by the incomparable Paul Winchell.
I was instructed that Tigger was a very exuberant kind of a character, and that at the same time, he was a very humorous kind of a character. So I tried to put together Exuberant, which was a guy who was very excited, you know, all the time, and just with his laugh and everything.
Tigger showed no signs of stopping. With a bottom made out of springs, Tigger bounded into our lives and creates joy to countless generations as he has to those before you. Alright, before I hit number 1, how about a couple honorable mentions? Now, I just didn't exhaust the list of Tiger characters. There are many others, but so many have not had the staying power or recollection of those on my list. 2 that come to mind are Tig, the little tiger from Shirt Tales, and Tigertron from Transformers Beast Wars. So, you know, this is my list. You probably have your very own list, your very own ranking, or even included some cast or characters that I don't even know. Anyway, let me know in the comments, and while you're down there, go ahead and click that subscribe and the alert so you don't miss a show. Alright, you ready for number 1? I bet you know exactly who it is. You know why? Because he's great! Number 1, Tony the Tiger. Yes, it was a tight race with Tigger. The only thing that made this iconic tiger take number 1 was the visibility to the world he has had since the 50s.
Pop, is this where they're going to give you $500?
Yep. All I have to do is ride a mama bull.
Name?
Tony the Tiger.
What outfit's from Tiger?
Sugar Frosted Flakes by Kellogg's out of Battle Creek.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Sugar Frosted Flakes? Those big crisp flakes of corn with that secret toasted in sugar frosting? They're great!
As an iconic pop culture phenomenon with our breakfast. We all saw him every day. All of us. Tony was in tip-top shape, and with a physique like that, dropping sugar from the title in 1983 meant Tony survived the cereal mascot purge to marketing to children when he went all physical fitness. Maybe Ronald should have taken some pointers to stay relevant. Then again, clowns have grown increasingly more sinister over time. As for Tony, the iconic voice and tagline have been voiced by many, but they keep the same resonance as his OG vocal talent, Thurl Ravenscroft. This often overlooked vocal genius and his baritone are famous for Tony, as well as many other characters and theme park rides. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I'm looking for a grim, grinning ghost.
You mean a grim grinning ghost that comes out to socialize?
Oh, man, that deep voice.
Not only is the lead in a specific theme park attraction song, Thurl is actually the often mistaken for Walt Disney bust in the graveyard scene of Disney's Haunted Mansion, the broken one, and he has been seen by countless millions mouthing the words to one of the most famous songs of all time.
Now, there's also one voice that you've been doing for 45 years.
Yeah.
What voice is that?
Well, I'm sure you've heard the guy who, if somebody says, Tony, are they any good? Tony says, good. They're great.
Here's to Tony the Tiger and his cultural impact for generations to come. Did you happen to catch any of those Collection 82 pieces popping up in the show? Yeah, they're like little Easter eggs you can spot while watching. So do me a solid by supporting me by putting my thing on your thing with some great illustrations and graphic designs by yours truly. That's right, you can do this via the link in the description. Well, I hope you're having a great time and you are sharing and liking PopCon. It's a great show. Until next time.